something new that I wasn't really aware of, and it's been really interesting.
I sort of realised, but not fully, that, you know, how strong their connection to the land was and things like that.
Yeah, it's quite good.
It's just nice to know now about the history and culture, because I had never learnt that.
Really interesting, and I definitely learned a lot from it.
In 2013 we ran for the first time a service learning program here at Curtin University for our journalism and screen arts students. It was called Indigenous Community Engagement, and the idea was for students to spend a whole semester working with not-for-profit Aboriginal organisations here in Perth on a project that would be determined by the community participants and the students themselves.
So that students from different disciplines, so from film and television, from writing and from journalism, could all work together in teams, and they were enrolled in a unit, or a course as it's called at other institutions, which gave them credit for their learning and gave us a space in which we could timetable interaction with the students. And that was really important because it gave it a home, I guess.
The plan was to allow the projects to evolve from the community and from the students' collaboration with them. We would trust the action research process, and it worked really well.
I'm studying the Indigenous Community Engagement Unit, which is a service learning unit.
I decided to take this unit when I was studying abroad, so thinking about home in hindsight made me realise I didn't know much about Aboriginal people. Foreigners would ask me questions and I wouldn't know how to answer them, and I guess I recognised that it was important to know more.
It's a great unit, something different and unique, and me being an Aboriginal person, I'm of Yawuru and Bardi descent from Broome, I thought this was a great unit for me to engage with the Noongar people and down south. And so far it's been great, especially here working at Noongar Radio.
Just the fact that it was something out of the scope of normal units that we do, and the fact that we had a chance to engage with like Aboriginal culture and stuff.
I think it's an experience, you know, I couldn't have gotten through any other units. I think, you know, I learnt a lot more than I would from anything else I've done, yeah.
I think our students have a great deal of interest in knowing and learning about Aboriginal people and telling their stories, or working with them to tell their own stories. But they also have a great deal of anxiety about how to do that, very worried about saying or doing the wrong thing. We have hoped through this unit to give them the opportunity to work with Aboriginal people in groups, to get beyond their own fears about that, to learn that they can work quite successfully in relationship with Aboriginal people and groups and produce good quality work as a result of that, and feel confident and competent about doing it in the future, and I think that's very important.
So when I was asking about how many people were Indigenous in this room, and because of that word Indigenous, right, everybody in this room is Indigenous, everybody. It may not be to Perth or even to Australia, but everybody is Indigenous. And everybody's culture, like mine, started off with a good rock. Okay? We all come from that same place. And we all come from plants, healing, and a very important thing that's been knocked out of our people, spirituality. Anybody know anything about spirituality? This is not about colour of skin, this is about spirituality. About how you connect with the land where you live. It's always an opportunity, good opportunity for me to talk to you guys, because I know that, you know, you moved me into a very difficult field, and what you do and how you go about your business means a lot especially in a state where they are reactive to what goes on in the media.
There's one really easy thing that you can do when you're working with Aboriginal people, is be yourself. Don't have a fear of offending, or don't be nervous about getting it right, because they're going to read that energy. What are you nervous for? Or there's something not right about that person because you've got a fear of offending. So just completely be yourself. Yeah? Aboriginal people have been researched, we argue and say, more than any other group of people in the world. So people are used to that, but they're also used to people coming and not getting it right. And when he was saying, well, I'm going to do it my way, and I said, well, that's not how we can do this, because it's an Aboriginal project, so you really need to listen to me.
Kaya, hello, my name's Simon Forrest. I'm a Yamaji Noongar man from Perth, Western Australia. Noongar country is in the southwest of Western Australia. My involvement in this project has been as a part of an advisory group, providing obviously advice to the project team, and I did have some involvement at Curtin University in some of the practicalities around the project by conducting an educational tour and an expedition following Governor Stirling's path on his punitive expedition to Pinjarra and the events surrounding his attack on a group of Noongars at Pinjarra in south of Perth. He and Rowe rode up basically what's now Kings Park Road to the corner of Kings Park Road and Thomas Street, and then headed in a sort of south-westerly direction through Karrakatta, or Shenton Park and Karrakatta and Claremont, and then through Claremont around Freshwater Bay, and then basically straight down to the river to a place called Minim Cove. So this was one place to cross, Derbylyedigan. Derbylyedigan, original name for the Swan River. Swan River came from the first European to come up here, and his name was William de Vlaming, and came up in the 1600s, and called it the Swan River because there was lots of black swans. Always knew that this was a site where Noongars were attacked. You know, I've been coming down here since I was a little kid, and we were always told that. But it was sort of a place we never came to because this was a Junark place, bad place. Through the efforts of local Noongar Theo Kearing, over many years has got this memorial placed here. So the final part is the actual events of the day, and we've got George Wally going through those events of the particular day.
Immediately as shouts of warnings were given, the rider and his group broke into a gallop from about 200 metres away. Shots were fired, and as the riders came closer, spears were thrown. One rider was mortally wounded in exchange, as Noongar were also being shot. It would have taken less than a minute for the exchange of bullets, spears and horses driving into the camp and scattering people out of their colour. This was, by definition, the Battle of Pinjarra.
We understand that events that occurred in the past shape and influence who we are today. Together as Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal Australians, in the spirit of reconciliation, we acknowledge the truth of our shared history.
Okay, thanks. Thank you. It must bring up a whole heap of thoughts and emotions of people about, because it's a trip on many different levels. It's the historical nature of it, the Aboriginal perspectives in some of the stuff I'm writing about Aboriginal history, and about how our voices need to be heard, and then just the sort of emotional journey about the particular events that happened that day. In our communities, whether they be in remote areas or in urban centres, willingly give a whole heap of information around our culture and the way we do things, just because of the way we are, but also because we think it's important to let non-Aboriginal Australia know more about us and the way we do things. It could be a real good model for reconciliation, actually, when you think about it.
We also introduced the students to action research, which would provide them with guidelines for working collaboratively with the Aboriginal community.
So my partner wanted to do this unit because it was something different that he hasn't been to or been involved with Indigenous communities. So it was really something new and exciting for him.
She has told me that she had interest
interested in the unit through like a father and family, because they work with the Aboriginal community and stuff, so it was pretty easy for her to kind of just understand, and just she had that want to do it.
She said, like, in journalism, theoretically they're taught how to treat and report on Indigenous people, but this kind of goes outside theory because they're actually doing it and actually interacting.
She sees the need for this unit and for both sides to take part in it. She said that Aboriginal people have a right to be sceptical, especially of journalists, because of past policies and so forth, but she's excited to become more comfortable in this unit.
In terms of the whole class, she's noticed that everyone's quite passionate and they seem genuinely interested, and that's been really encouraging.
Yeah, so she was actually more confident before the last 2 weeks, and now she's kind of got a new realisation of the possible ways she could offend people.
She does fear that in her being respectful, she might come across as being disrespectful, whether it's directly or indirectly, maybe through her body language or things like that.
She said this is the first project she's been given that there's absolute freedom given in film and TV, whereas everything else you're kind of told what you have to do, and she likes that about this.
For me, you are my primary stakeholders. I'm working with you today, and in doing so, I'm actually learning. Okay, I'm learning what you are doing. So learning enables me to understand what you are doing, how you're going about doing it, and what you're thinking about, and perhaps what you're feeling about what you're doing. So what I'm doing is building understanding. But the heart and the soul of whatever it is you produce must come from the people themselves, their perspective, their experience, what they think is important, how they've gone about doing their business, and so on.
But action-based research is for everyone. Was it ego-driven? Because ego's got to get thrown out the door when you do action-based research.
I think that with working with Indigenous communities, you need to spend the time to get, number one, to negotiate your stories, and particularly in a service learning kind of environment, to negotiate the kinds of stories that you're going to be working on. But number two, to get to the nub of the story, to get to the humanity of the story.
Yeah, so this is more about actually, instead of going out there straight away and brainstorming like before, this is us working in the environment with them and observing how everything works before we actually, you know, come up with an idea, a creative plan to see what our documentary is going to turn out to be.
With Noongar Radio, they've been really helpful and really participated a lot with us, and it's just been a really good partnership. They've provided us with access to the building pretty much any time that we wanted, and being radio presenters, it really helped with our film because they were so natural at it.
We all got on really well, and there wasn't that much of a barrier or anything. I think because we spent a good probably 4 or 5 weeks at the start just coming in and getting to know them and then planning what we were going to do, and then we didn't bring a camera in until about 4 weeks ago or something.
Because you're meeting with your community partner and you're seeing them face to face and you're hands-on with them, I guess it's so much easier and more intuitive. Action research is really, it develops your thinking, I guess, and you're always recording in your own mind, and that's, I guess, how you, as a person, can grow as well as with your partner as well.
I've been doing the community engagement, Indigenous community engagement program through my online reporting unit. I've been coming down here to Langford Aboriginal Association for a couple of weekends, about 4 or 5 weekends now, and following the community garden that they've made. There's a lot of different aspects to the garden, and a lot of different groups have come together. So they've got the fruit and veggies, and looking for that healthy lifestyle and promoting that live longer with the healthy kind of eating.
Getting to Langford, everyone was welcoming. It was very easy to gel with all the ladies and all the participants. The fact that us, like our group, myself, Michael and Beck, spent time with all the ladies and the people at Langford before we actually brought in the cameras and stuff, I think helped our relationship, and it just had the whole process just became much smoother and easier. It's pretty much just down the road from Curtin, and it wasn't rural. I'd expected us to be working in a rural community and all that, but we actually just work locally, and there's really, I felt that there wasn't that much of a cultural difference. So that I thought was pretty good, and yeah, it was a very enjoyable experience.
One of the important aspects of action research is the sharing of the process with all of the stakeholders and participants. So towards the end of the project, we organised a celebration, a showcase. We invited our community partners and academics and the students and other people we knew would be interested in the project to join us, and we started with a glass of wine and some nibbles, and then we all moved into the auditorium. And the showcase was student-led, so the students introduced everything, the partners spoke, we said a few words, and it was really a showcase of the process of the project. So not so much the outcomes, but the ways in which we all engaged throughout this cultural awareness unit.
The brief was fairly simple in that I said, look, do a video of us, do it with some questions in mind, so, and do it with, I guess, a thinking of, you know, why do we exist? What is it about Noongar radio that makes it different to the other radio stations?
One, two, 1, 2.
This is your station, Perth's only Aboriginal station, 100.9 FM Noongar Radio.
One of the beautiful things of this community is Noongar Radio, and I'm not saying that because I'm the station manager. There is not many people that, or stations in this town that can do what we're doing, and I guess that's why people are coming over to us.
It's just a radio program. It's just songs and hello, how are you? That's all it is, but it's more than that.
You need an Aboriginal broadcasting station in a place like Perth. If people can listen to the radio station for even 5 minutes and get something really positive out of it, then that's a good thing.
Jessie McCartney-Price and myself also worked with Langford, producing stories on the Beat It Live Longer program and the brand new community garden. I would like to now invite Sev Akadensky, the Health Program Coordinator at Langford, to come up and share their experiences.
I'd just like to say a big thank you to the Curtin students and the lecturers and everybody else that was involved in producing this DVD and also writing the articles and promoting LAA and especially Beat It Live Longer program. It's been a great experience for us working with the students, and I can see that they're trying to make a difference in reconciliation within the community, so and that's always a good thing.
My name's Lynette. It has made a big difference watching what I'm eating, especially trying to eat more fruit and cutting the bread out.
Yes, like straight off the tree. You know, that reminds me of when I was growing up.
What have I learnt? I've learnt a lot, I guess. More about Indigenous people in Perth and how the situation is reconciliation with the generation around my age.
I found that cooperating with a real community really helped me understand the importance of relationships and the key role that cooperating with a group has.
As a journalist, I can see myself reporting on a lot more you know, Aboriginal stories and issues and things because I just know more about it and I feel more comfortable.
I feel like the whole unit as a whole has been kind of based on us in a way. It's just all the work we've done kind of working away from the whole kind of structured sense of an outline that you get in beginning of a semester and stuff. And it's pretty much what we have come up together as a group. And just, yeah, it just kind of gives you a feel of how it's like to work outside of uni, you know, in a way.
And I think that's the good thing about action research, because it's actually building you up as a person, not only just your academic skills, but with relationships and communication, as well as, yeah, how you view things.
Can't wait for people to see what we've done. And I know down the track this unit will be really popular, I think. And lots of people, journalism students and screen arts, want to get involved. And it's a great way for them to engage with the Indigenous community in Perth. So, which is really important and close to my heart. So.